Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the June 2025 OC HMIS user meeting. If you haven't already done so, please enter your name and your agency's name in the chat box for attendance. On the agenda today, we have the HMIS participating agency schedule, the HMIS policy and procedures update, system performance measures, Clarity feature updates. This includes the check-in button and the signature field type, the 2025 agency audits, the data entry for Social Security numbers, removing households from the community queue, exiting clients from a program, reopening a program enrollment, the potential exits report, training and resources, project performance report, survey, Q&A, and then office hours. This is a slide that we have on every meeting regarding our Q&A section. This is to organize questions better for the help desk to answer during our meeting. As you can tell by our agenda, we have a very, very packed meeting today. So I encourage you to please use the Q&A button to ask any questions during our meeting. And we do have the support team that will answer your questions there. So we also go over our HMIS participating agencies schedule. It has information such as the HUD required reports, the Orange County required reports, Orange County requirements such as agency audits and user recertification, and then finally, our HMIS meetings. I understand that this is a bit of an eye chart, so this is just highlighting when these different reports and meetings occur, and it is available on our website. So for the HMIS participating agencies schedule, we wanted to highlight a couple of items. So we're continuing to work on the housing inventory count and the sheltered point in time count. We are working on the final sort of push to getting everything submitted, and everything is due on June 13th. We will begin our HMIS agency audits this month, and we will carry those audits through to December. So when you do receive your scheduling ticket from us, please make sure that you schedule as soon as possible. And then regarding PPR corrections, we have the emergency shelter corrections that will be added to your agency's Dropbox. So first, we have our HMIS policies and procedures updates. Please keep in mind that we will be sending out a newsletter notification letting you know when the documents are ready for your review. We just wanted to go through the changes initially so that you have this information and give you kind of a heads up going forward, but we will be sending this out in the next few weeks. So the HMIS policies and procedures was approved by the COC board in August of 2024, with the exception of the client record request policy. The policy was approved by the OC or the COC board during the May 2025 meeting. The COC board requested additional research to be done to determine if the client record request policy should be updated to allow clients to request their full record from HMIS. Now, this means everything within HMIS. Additional policies and forms were updated to provide clarity, reflect new guidance, and reflect new internal processes. The client record request under this section, clients requesting their specific information in their HMIS record may work directly with the agency participating in HMIS. Case notes may be shared by the agency that they've entered themselves at the agency's discretion. Agencies can only provide information that they have access to view in HMIS. Clients that want to receive their full HMIS record may submit a client record request by contacting their service provider that they're currently working with and participating in HMIS. Clients will be able to select the types of data they would like to review. Case notes are not included in the full record request submitted to the HMIS lead. So again, case notes can be shared by the agency at the agency's discretion. They will not be pulled during the formal full HMIS record request. Continuing with the client record requests, clients may request edits to the data they have contributed to HMIS. Clients that wish to edit data for a specific project must contact the agency directly to request the edit. If the project is closed or the agency administering the project is no longer participating in HMIS, no edits can be made. Data contributed by a participating agency, such as enrollment history, service notes, case notes, etc., cannot be edited at the client's request. So they can only edit information that they've contributed. For data use and disclosure, we clarify that data may be used or disclosed without client consent for system administration, technical support, program compliance, analytical use, and other purposes such as outlined in our privacy notice or required by law. For data release, we clarify that client data will not be shared without consent except for uses and disclosures outlined in the policies and procedures or otherwise required by law. The HMIS lead, COC collaborative applicant, CES lead, and CES administrators may release aggregate data about the COC without organization or COC board permission. Regarding data integration, agencies must be approved for HMIS access before submitting any data integration requests. We have updated language around the new API process as well. Continuing with data integration, agencies requesting to integrate their own HMIS data with case management software will be reviewed and approved by the HMIS lead. Requests to integrate coordinated entry system data will be reviewed and approved by the HMIS lead and the CES lead. Agencies requesting to integrate HMIS data from other agencies that they do not manage will be reviewed and approved by the COC board. Moving over to client consent, we clarify that the client is consenting for their data to be shared with other service providers and organizations in HMIS. Signing the consent form also means that the client's data may be used in data requests approved by the COC board. And then as far as the grievance form is concerned, we refer clients to the Office of Care Coordination for grievances related to the coordinated entry system. And we provide examples of HMIS related grievances. Moving on to the privacy notice, we clarify that there are situations where client data may be disclosed without the client's consent. Clients that submit a client record request will have their full records sent to the agency that submitted the request on their behalf. And so again, before we move on to system performance measures, I want to reiterate that we will be sending out the new HMIS policies and procedures. I know that was a lot of information, and we will also be recapping the slides and meeting minutes, so you will have this information provided to you. Heather?
Hey, good morning, everyone. So we wanted to provide an update on the latest system performance measures that were submitted to HUD. As a quick background, HUD requires COC to measure their performance as a system on an annual basis. This benefits the COC as system performance measures allow the COC to evaluate and improve their performance as a whole. And in addition, HUD uses this data from the performance measures as a selection criteria to award grants under the COC program. Next slide, please. So the reporting period used for this submission was October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024, and our COC submitted the report in February. The project types included in this report are safe haven, street outreach, emergency shelter, transitional housing, and all permanent housing types. The report provides us with a year-over-year comparison to assist the COC with evaluating performance, and we've provided a link on the slide to that report as well as the submission for this year. Next slide, please. The SPMs look at the following measures, which are all interrelated and when analyzed together, provide a complete picture of system performance. So measure 1 is the length of time persons remain homeless. Measure 2 is the extent to which persons who exit homelessness to permanent housing destinations return to homelessness or recidivism. Measure 3, the number of homeless persons. Measure 4, employment and income growth for homeless persons in COC program funded projects. Measure 5, the number of persons who become homeless for the first time. And measure 7, successful placements from street outreach and successful placement in or retention of permanent housing. Next slide, please. So compared to last year, our COC saw improvements in return to homelessness. So these would be persons returning to street outreach, emergency shelter, and transitional housing projects after exits to permanent housing destinations. There were also improvements in people who became homeless for the first time, and successful exits from street outreach all showed improvements as a COC. And successful exits are placements to permanent housing destinations, temporary destinations, except for a place not meant for human habitation, and some institutional destinations. Measures where a decline was noted were the length of time people remain homeless, the number of people experiencing homelessness, increase in income for adults in COC-funded projects, and successful exits from emergency shelter, safe haven, transitional housing, and rapid rehousing projects. Next slide, please. So this graph shows successful exits where street outreach is in blue and emergency shelter, transitional housing, and rapid rehousing are in orange. The graph shows that from 2019 in general, people who are experiencing homelessness are exiting to successful housing situations less frequently than they were in 2019. However, you can see that there has been an improvement since 2023 in the street outreach exits. Next slide, please. For returns to homelessness, this bar chart shows over time an improvement for this measure from the previous year. But the overall trend is that people are falling back into homelessness after being placed in permanent housing at higher rates than they were in 2019. Next slide, please. And our last slide shows that for change in subpopulations and disabling conditions, those experiencing homelessness have higher needs than those served in 2019. And next slide, please. And the overall conclusions that were drawn from this data are that one, people experiencing homelessness have become more vulnerable since 2019 and therefore require more support in order to find and be placed in permanent housing situations. And number two, that more long-term supportive housing is needed to keep people housed.
Thank you, Heather. Beth?
Good morning, everyone. There are some new features that we wanted to share with our community. So for the month of June, there are two new features. It is a check-in button on the client profile and a signature field type. These will be available on a Clarity training site shortly for our community testing. Updates will be included in our HMS user meeting minutes of when these features are available on the training site. Please feel free to test out the new features and share feedback to our HMS help desk, and you can submit a ticket with the category feedback. Next slide, please. A check-in button will be available on the client profile page, and it's going to be listed under the unique identifier. This is to give user access to click the check-in button, easier access versus having to go directly into the referral and then navigating to the click check-in button. The following action will take place when the user click the check-in button. The clock will reset the referral and the client will remain active on any current pending community queue referral. And then the last activity date will be modified to the date that the check-in button was clicked. And this would also be reflected in the history log at the end of the referral. Next slide, please, Diana. And we also wanted to share that there is a new field type, signature. So our community can request if your agency uses electronic signature for any data entry with the participants. So the signature field can be added to the profile screen, program enrollment, status, exit, assessment, and program follow-up. And for reporting purposes, the signature field will report back signed if there was a signed signature. As a recap, these features will be available shortly, and we will let our community know when that's ready for testing. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Hugo?
Good morning, everyone. Today I'll begin by talking about the 2025 agency audits. The 2025 HMS agency audit cycle has officially begun. I know everyone in this meeting is just as excited about that as we are here. The HMIS Help Desk team will begin scheduling audits in June. Please be on the lookout for an audit scheduling email that our team will be sending out throughout the summer and fall months. The HMIS Help Desk team will reach out to your agency 2 weeks before your scheduled time slot to provide you with a list of available audit dates. Agency administrators will have 2 weeks to complete the 2025 HMS agency audit form before your agency's scheduled audit. Next slide, please. Universal Data Element 3.02 Social Security Number. Social Security numbers are collected during the intake process to support with the unique identification of each client served. COCs rely on accurate social security numbers and client UIDs to produce an unduplicated count of clients served within HMIS. The social security data collection is collected about all clients and it is applicable to every HMIS project type. Specifically, social security numbers are collected at the point of a client's HMIS record creation. As part of our mission to end homelessness, service and housing providers should aim to increase access and utilization of mainstream programs by clients who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Since Social Security numbers are a required data element for many mainstream programs, projects may require access to accurate Social Security numbers to help their clients access key services. PATH, COC, and ESG funded projects are only required to collect the last four digits of a client's Social Security number, although they may collect all nine digits. Some projects may serve clients that don't have a Social Security number. In these cases, staff members should select the client doesn't know response. Federal Statute 5, UNSC, Section 522A prohibits government agencies from denying shelter or services to clients who don't know or refuse to provide their Social Security numbers. Next slide, please. Invalid Social Security warning. Whenever staff members enter a Social Security number for a client during the client record creation process, Clarity HMIS will check to see if the Social Security number is valid. Social Security numbers are considered invalid if any of the following are true. The last four digits are all 0000. The first three digits are 000, 666, or start with a 9. The middle digits, that is the second grouping of digits, otherwise known as digits 4 and 5, are 00. If the digits are repetitive, such as 111, 11, 1111, etc., or if the digits are sequential, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. If the Social Security number is invalid, a pop-up warning will appear. Staff members can click Cancel to correct the invalid Social Security number and replace it with a valid number. Otherwise, staff members can click OK to save the invalid Social Security number. The image on the right-hand side of the screen demonstrates what that would look like within Clarity HMIS. Next slide, please. Non-numeric Social Security digits. Staff members can enter non-numeric characters for any digits of a client's Social Security number that are unknown or refused by the client. Clarity HMIS will automatically convert these characters to an X letter. If a non-numeric character is entered for all 9 digits of the Social Security number, the quality of Social Security number field will default to client doesn't know. If any digit of the Social Security number has a non-numeric character, and there are no more than 8 non-numeric characters, the quality of Social Security number field will default to approximate or partial Social Security number reported. If the consent refuse toggle is enabled, all Social Security number digits will convert to X's when the client record is saved. And the images on the right-hand side of the page demonstrate what all of these situations would look like within Clarity HMIS as well. Next slide, please. The help desk team has come to understand that there has been a bit of confusion regarding specific Social Security number data quality codes. So we have created this very simple table demonstrating what each data quality code is and what its matching description is. If staff members have any trouble, they can always reference this specific table, or they can always go back to the HMIS Data Standards Manual, which will have more in-depth information about each specific data quality code and when it would be most applicable to use.
Hugo, go ahead and move on. Amy?
Thank you, Diana. Good morning, everybody. We're going to cover removing households from the community queue. The CES community queue referral should remain active as long as there is contact with the household within the 90-day timeframe. However, households may be removed from the community queue if or when the household attains housing outside of CES, the household no longer desires to participate in the CES, or the household cannot be contacted by any access point teams with concurring enrollments within the 90-day time frame. Another reason the household may be removed from the community queue is due to profile inactivity, meaning none of the 4 check-in activities outlined in the Maintaining Households on the Community Queue knowledge base article have taken place within the 90-day time frame. If the household is removed due to inactivity before their housing needs have been met, they can be referred back via a new CES assessment. Further information about removing households from the CES housing community queue is available via the Removing Households from the Community Queue knowledge base article, which has also been linked in our Google document in the chat.
Okay, I'll go ahead and stop sharing so Amy can demo.
Thank you very much, Diane. I'll be sharing my screen. You should be able to see the OC Train screen.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. As always, for today's demo, we will be using the OC Clarity training site and using fictitious client information. We're starting on the Search for Clients page. As usual, you'll go ahead and enter your client's unique identifier or search for them via other PPI. But for today's purposes, we'll go ahead and load up our client that we've pre-identified. Once I open the client's profile screen, the first stop I'm going to make is to look underneath their picture and unique identifier here. I can see that there's some community queue information available. This tells me that the client has an active entry on the Coordinated Entry System community queue. To view more information about that community queue referral, I'll go ahead and navigate up to the history. Click on that and it will load the history screen. If the client has a long history within the HMIS Clarity database, there may be pages and pages of data that you'll want to save time by clicking the advanced search options and clicking the coordinated entry button. Right now it's already toggled, but that saves a tremendous amount of time for clients with long histories, and that'll limit our search to just coordinated entry information. And as you can see here, I can find the community queue coordinated entry system referral quite easily. So I'll go ahead and click the edit button and we're going to open the referral page. Now I'm reviewing the referral page for the coordinated entry system community queue referral. I'm going to navigate to the middle of the page to find the section that states remove from queue. My first stop here is going to be to add a reason for removal. So I'll go ahead and toggle the drop down. And as you can see, there's a few options available for why that participant is being removed from the queue. However, there are common reasons such as the participant states that they're no longer interested in participating in the coordinated entry system. In those similar cases, you can click Other. If you do choose the Other option, you need to also include a note about why that participant is being removed from the community queue. Once your note has been added, you can send note and then click Save Changes to remove that participant from the queue. So I'll go ahead and add a note. Client is no longer interested in the CES. I'll go ahead and submit my note and I can hit Save Changes. Once that's done, it'll reload the referrals page and I'll scroll all the way down to the history section of the page for activity. And you can see under the history section, there's all the activity related to this referral, including a note that states that they've been removed from the community queue on this date and by this staff member. So this is where you're going to confirm that that participant has been removed from the community queue.
Thank you, Amy. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Give me a moment, everyone. Okay. Let me go ahead and advance. Amy?
Thank you, Diana. For our next topic, we'll be covering exiting clients from a program. Clients may be exited from a project for the following reasons: successful program completion, client or household has 90 days of no engagement, the client or household wishes to exit the program. For CES, projects enrollments should remain open as long as there is communication with the household within the 90-day timeframe. If a client is erroneously exited, the program enrollment can be restored by navigating to the exit screen and clicking the Reopen Client Program at the bottom right of the screen. We'll learn more about that shortly here, but you can also review the Reopen Program Enrollment Knowledge Base article. Next slide. When completing a program exit, be mindful that for group enrollments, the option to exit several household members will appear. Toggle the switch next to the members you wish to exit, and users will be prompted to complete exit screens for each of those participants. When exiting the head of household from a group enrollment, a new head of household will need to be assigned before exiting the current head of household. For guidance on this, please review the Exiting Clients from a Project Knowledge Base article for guidance on when and how to exit clients from a project. And as always, we do have our Google link in the chat where you can go ahead and pull up those KBs directly. Please also remember to adjust the program exit date to reflect the last day the client received services and/or occupied a bed or unit. Each household member of a group enrollment will have their own project exit date to reflect when they stopped receiving those services or occupied the bed or unit. Review the project exit date knowledge base article for additional details on this data element.
Okay, and we'll be doing our demo. Let me go ahead and stop sharing.
Thank you, Diana. Once again, if you can confirm you're viewing the OC Train Clarity website.
Yep.
Perfect. Once again, for our demo, we're using this website with fictitious client information, and I'll be using our pre-loaded client for our demo. So this is the same participant that I removed from the community queue. So now I'm going to go through the process of exiting them out of a project. So once I've opened their profile screen, I'm going to start by navigating to the program tabs at the top of the screen, which will load up the program history screen. Under the program history, I'm going to locate the active project that I now need to close out. For our demo, I will use this emergency shelter program. So I'll click the edit button, which will load up the program service history screen. So now we're viewing the program level data, and on the screen, I'm going to find the exit button. And as you can see, because this participant is enrolled with other members of a household, it's going to prompt me to select which members need to be exited from the project. And you can select as many as apply. So if more than one person has an exit that needs to be recorded, you're going to toggle the button for them and you'll be prompted to complete exit screens for each of those individuals. But for today, we're just going to stick with our client. So I'll hit End Program. Now I'm viewing the exit screen for my client. Our first data element that I want to note will be the project exit date. For this very important element, it's important to note that the project exit date is supposed to reflect when the participant stopped receiving services or the last night that they occupied the bed or unit. As you can see, it auto-populates on the page with today's date. So if they have already exited the program, officially stopped receiving services, or stopped occupying that bed or unit, you'll need to adjust that date to reflect when that occurred. The exit destination is also an important data element. I do want to note that there's a tremendous number of options to select from. So when you're meeting with the client for their exit interview, you'll have them select the one that most closely reflects where they're going to be exiting to immediately after they leave the project, or where they have exited to already when they've left the project. I also want to note that selections of other or no exit interview completed should be discouraged and avoided if possible, because they do not reflect positively on any of our HMIS HUD tracked reports. If you do select other, please do specify as closely as possible the exit destination. And once you have reviewed that, please go back and see if it even loosely matches any of the actually available options that have already been listed. So for our demo today, I'm going to state that the person is staying or living with the family for permanent tenure, and I'm going to go ahead and put in some fictitious responses from my client exit interview. And now I want to save and close, but I have a new window that popped up. I am receiving this window because I'm trying to exit a head of household for a group enrollment, and I can't officially exit a head of household without first reassigning a new head of household. So I'll hit OK and scroll back up to my household information and find the head of household label. Right now it's set to our client, but I'm going to click the edit button. It's going to pop up with our two clients in the household, and I'm going to reassign my client to the relationship type that most accurately reflects the household composition. And so I'm going to change my client to head of household's other relation member, since she is the sister of the new head of household. And I'm going to change Amber to now be the head of household. So I have a new head of household, and I can go ahead and save that and then save my exit data. So you may have to, looks like it wiped out my data. So please note that you may want to do that prior to completing all of these fields. That way I don't have to go back and re-enter the data, but I should be able to successfully now save our exit screen. All right, so changes successfully changed. You can see here under program end date, I now have an exit date and a new head of household. And I can go back to the programs tab here and now confirm under the program history that that end date is available and this project has been closed.
Thank you, Amy. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Please bear with me. All right. Make sure I am up and running. Okay. Next up, we have Rachel.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to go over how to reopen a program enrollment. There may be times when staff will need to know how to reopen a program enrollment. For example, if staff accidentally exit a client from a program, an incorrect date was added, or if exit data needs to be edited, knowing how to reopen a program enrollment will be helpful. Step 1 will be to navigate to the enrollment that you are wanting to reopen. Click the Exit button to access the exit data. Step 2, scroll down to the very end and click on the Reopen Client Program button. Next slide, please. In cases where the exit date was entered incorrectly or an exit was accidentally added, please follow the next steps. Step 3. A pop-up will appear with the following statement. This action will clear the exit date. Click Save. The exit data will remain, but the enrollment will be reopened. You can confirm the end date is now listed as active. Next slide, please. The next step depends on whether the clear and restore all exit data functionality is enabled. This functionality is limited to users who have been approved to have this additional access. All agency admins have this additional access. Users with access to clear and restore exit data can follow the steps below. Step 3. A pop-up will appear with the following statement. This action will clear the exit date. To clear all exit data, please select Toggle before saving. And then you can toggle Clear All Exit Data to completely remove an accidental exit. Next slide, please. For step 4, the following message will appear. By confirming all exit data for this client will be removed. This action will not modify any client service end dates. Go ahead and click OK. The page will refresh on the end program screen, and the project exit date and the exit data will be cleared. You may confirm that the end date is now listed as active. Some important notes. Service end dates are separate from this process. This process will need to be completed per household member. Clearing the exit date and hitting save will not remove the end date. Next slide, please.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing so you can do your demo.
Diana, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, for this demo, I'm going to be reviewing how to reopen a program enrollment and clear all exit data. I'm going to give folks a moment in case they would like to follow along in the training site. In this example, the client was accidentally exited from the program, and so we'll need to have the end date and all of the exit data cleared. I'm going to navigate to my test client. Click on Programs. Go within the program history here. Exit. I'm going to scroll down to reopen client program. Click on that. And then the pop-up will appear. This action will clear the exit date. To clear all exit data, please select Toggle below before saving. I'm going to go ahead and toggle that. Click Save. And then another pop-up will say, by confirming all exit data for this client will be removed, this action will not modify any client service end dates. I'm going to click OK. All right, and I'm going to go back here to the enrollment. Sorry, the history, my mistake. Third time's the charm programs. There we go. And then I'm going to see here that the end date is now active. That is the end of my demo, and I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Rachel. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Please bear with me. Okay, Rachel.
The potential exits report can be helpful to identify clients who may need to be exited. This report flags clients that are active in a program but haven't received services. CE events and case notes within the selected cutoff date range. From the Launchpad, you will click on Reports, navigate to the report library, program-based reports, and potential exits. There you will click Run, and then you can go ahead and enter in your reporting parameters, selecting the programs that you wish to include in your report, enter in your cutoff date, select your preferred report output format, and click Submit. Next slide, please. And then after that, you can scroll up and refresh your web page and click on the report queue icon. And then once the potential exit report loads, you'll be able to see the client UID, client name, last four of the client's social security number, project name, details about their most recent activity, the assigned staff, and if the enrollment type is for a family or individual. For more information about a client's most recent activity, you can also click on the UID to be taken to the client's profile. Next slide, please.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing for the demo.
Can you see my screen, Diana?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to give folks a couple of moments to log into the training site in case they would like to follow along. I'm going to go ahead and click on the launch pad. And from here, I'm going to click on reports. And here under the report library, I'm going to scroll down a little bit and I'm going to go to program-based reports, expand that, go to potential exit reports and click on run. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and enter in my reporting parameters. I'm going to just select this project. That's my cutoff date. And then the report output format will be web page. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. And then up here, I'm just going to go ahead and refresh my web page. All right, and now I see here that my report is ready. I'm going to go ahead and click open. Right. And then here I can see that the most recent activity for this particular client was meal, and this was the most recent activity date. This is who the assigned staff was, and then the enrollment type for this particular household was for family. And then if I want to find out more information, I can go ahead and click on the client here. And then that will take me to their profile and I can investigate a little bit further if I would like. And that's the end of my demo. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Give me a moment, everyone. Okay. So moving on, Michaela.
Good morning, everyone. We have some training and resources we would like to notify you of. As of June 2025, we have our HMIS Part 2 training live Wednesday, June 25th, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then we also have the navigation, so you can navigate to our OC HMIS calendar and meeting link docs for the registration links. Project performance reports. The permanent supportive housing and other permanent housing, rapid rehousing, and transitional housing project performance and goals and outcome reports have been published. Current and past PPRs can be found on the Orange County HMIS website. The navigation for that is our OC HMIS website, reports, and project performance reports. Corrections for the emergency shelter PPR draft data will be uploaded into the Dropbox in the upcoming weeks. The project performance overview is a helpful document that provides important information regarding the PPRs, including the thresholds for each goal and our publishing schedule.
Thank you, Michaela. Our HMIS meeting survey will be sent out in our meeting minutes and is also available in our links document that is currently posted. This allows us to get feedback from the community regarding any topics that you're interested in reviewing for upcoming monthly meetings. This really has helped us sort of provide additional information to the community that you're interested in. So if you have a topic you would like to see, please provide it. We are keeping sort of a running list, and we'll touch on different topics that are suggested to us. All right, we have come to the end of our meeting. I know it was a very jam-packed meeting with a lot of information. As I said, we will be providing all of this information in our meeting recap newsletter, and the materials will be posted on our website and available to you. Again, if you haven't entered your agency's name in the chat box, please enter your name and your agency's name for attendance. We do use that information for various reporting. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put those in our Q&A. And we'll leave a few minutes for the Q&A. I understand that our meeting ran quite a bit longer than usual, so we want to give everyone the opportunity to ask questions if they have them regarding the slides and topics we presented today. Okay, and again, because I know time is running very short for everyone, I want to thank everyone for joining us today for our OCHMIS user meeting. Please have a great day. Our next user meeting will be on July 2nd. We will stay available for office hours if you would like to hang on. We understand because this meeting ran long, you may not be able to stay on. So if you need to hop off the meeting and attend something else, please do. And thank you again for joining us today.